And we are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Sara, and this is the first out of many Digital Creativity Lab workshops. This is our new program. I'm very excited. This is great news for me. And I'm going to be leading you through maybe 7, maybe 10, or as many exciting workshops that we can come up with. This workshop is brought to you by NeuroLove. So make sure you go to their website. A little logo is down there. You just add .org and you're there on their webpage. Their webpage also includes different lives, so recordings of these workshops. You have fitness, you have yoga, you have baking, you have art, you have whatever you're interested in. So why not? It's all free and you have some time probably on your hands now, so use it wisely, join our workshops. For those of you who are just joining, we are available both on Zoom and on YouTube Live. Make sure that you understand how this recording works. There are 2 buttons below, which can take you a little bit back, or it can pause the video if you want to do something again, or don't understand something completely. You can either watch it again, or if you're with us live, you can ask questions. Questions you can ask on YouTube Live under comments or chat. Or if you're with us on Zoom, I can see that right away, so you can ask it in Q&A or in chat window. To start with this, maybe you can introduce yourself in the comments, say what you're interested in and why you're here, what kind of creativity you're interested in. We're going to be doing a lot of digital tools with this within this workshop, and each week we're going to have a new one. It's going to be a demonstration of many, many things and tools and softwares that you can use to express your creativity, because you all have this little creative spark. Don't be shy. Don't stop yourself in it. Don't respond to any kind of bad comments that you might get from it. It's all about practice and your attitude. So I'm not sure if everyone knows what digital creativity means. So I'm gonna introduce you to a little concept of digital creativity. If you would Google this kind of thing, you would find that it's all about digital tools and different technologies that we can use to explore creative ideas or some new ways to express and display our own ideas. This is what we've been doing previously in my AR workshops. So if you've been following us for a while, you probably know that we had these augmented reality workshop. I really enjoyed leading that one. It was 10 weeks of pure joy. And in that workshop, we've been mainly presenting material that someone else has made. So we had some input from my super creative friend, Josipa. We had some quiz making. We have different kinds of photos and videos displayed on our t-shirts, on different cubes, paper pyramids. We've done all those things. And now this is a step forward. This is something that has grown from that idea. And we're going to be doing a lot more this time. Each week, it's a new tool. So here you can see some of the ideas that we already have for this. There's going to be some stop motion video creation. Do you know what a stop motion is? It's when you have those little images that you collect and make a little video out of. It's like a GIF. So if you've done a GIF or a boomerang or something that contains several images and creates a video, that's a stop motion video. We're going to be doing that in one of the weeks. But also we're going to be doing some exciting things like 3D modeling, graphic design, digital footprint research. Digital footprint research sounds really boring, but actually it's what you all like doing. It's playing FBI online. So if you've never searched for a friend or someone you have a crush on online, this is a workshop for you. We're going to be exploring all the stuff that we can find when we know exact keywords and ways to find information. But we're also going to be looking at what people can find about us. Yeah, that's the other side of the medal. So we're going to be working on a lot of fun stuff like Powtoon animations, comic book creation. It depends on what kind of creativity you're into. But don't be afraid to join all of these workshops, because there is something that you can find in all of these tools and use for something that you do. So if you're more of a drawing type, someone who enjoys art in that visual sense, you might actually find graphic design with Canva useful, or all of these little elements. You could be doing stop motion video with your art, or make a WordPress website with your art as a portfolio. So no matter what you do, there is something useful for you. This is just a little preview of what's coming, but if you have any ideas of what you would like to see, or there's some things that you would like to explore but never had a chance, or something you generally don't have time for, we're here to do it with you. So if you have something to suggest, you can easily just write it down in comments in YouTube, or you can send us a suggestion, which you can find on NeuroLove.org. There's a suggestion form that you can fill in, which comes directly to us, and we'll be able to, incorporate it in one of the weekly sessions. If you haven't signed up for this through Zoom, how would you do that? Same website, NeuroLove.org, and you have live events under I think it was under events, and then you go to under live events, and that's where you can make a booking for your spot here on Zoom. When you're with us on Zoom, it means that you can follow directly without a little lag that's happening in YouTube Live. And you can also ask questions and participate in these workshops that way. So we are happy to have you. But now let's see what's first thing on the list. What are we doing in the first week of this super exciting Digital Creativity Lab? So our first thing is font making. Why fonts? Who would choose fonts? I know it's something that people don't talk about a lot, but everyone is kind of expecting that you know which font to use, when to use it, what looks good, what doesn't look good, what's professional, what you shouldn't use. And it's just a lot of questions and a lot of potential anxiety that you don't need in your life. It's also very creative. So you can see here, we have a little definition. It says that a font is a graphical representation of text, which may include different typeface, point, size, weight, color, or design. All of these elements kind of tell us that this is a creative business here. So if we can change point size or one side of the font, if we can change the weight or color or overall design of this font, it's creative. So we're going to be doing this kind of creativity today, and I very much encourage you to do it alongside with me. If it's too quick for you, too fast, going too fast through these steps, feel free to, click a little pause, continue doing it in your own time, go back and follow new steps. We're going to be using font maker apps, but before we do that, I would like to make sure that you have either a computer or laptop or tablet device with you, because that's what you're going to need to create your own font later. Right, so are we making a typeface or a font? That's a question that designers always insist on, and we always get it wrong. Normal mortals, we get it wrong. So font is what we recognize as, type of letters that we write with, but typeface is actually what we're talking about. So you have, let's say for this title here, I've used Roboto typeface, and that same Roboto or a typeface, which is a family of fonts, a group, a type, can be written in italic, thin, regular, black, bold, and all these different format modifications. So that's a font, one type of those Roboto typefaces. So here, I think I got it right this time. This is a little tip for you. So if you want to know your vocabulary and know what you're doing, you are currently creating a typeface, and you're going to create your own family of fonts. You're going to create your own handwriting font, or you can edit some font that you really, really like. That's an option too. So let's see when we use this typeface or a font. We also talk about typography. typography is another fancy word, and it actually means all of these elements that the designers take into consideration when they're creating a font. Sorry, typeface, there you go. Still learning, this is tough stuff, but we can do it together. So when we're designing a typeface, these are all the elements that we need to take into account. What is the space between the letters? So between the lines and between the letters. What kind of curves and loops do you use? So here you can see those loops in the bottom. Links between the letters. So if you write handwriting, how do you connect those letters? That's also very characteristic for your own handwriting. And we also have different kinds of height. So you can see here on the H that it has a shoulder, what they call a shoulder. So this little curve on the H letter. It can be higher or lower. That's something that you decide when you design a font. It kind of gives you a different visual look depending on what you choose. It might not seem that different when you're designing it, but when you compare other fonts, those differences are so subtle, but make a whole feeling of a typeface completely different. Now, this is something to come back to and study in detail when you're creating your second font, your third font, your 55th font, because these little tiny differences you won't be able to incorporate in your first one. So let's just skip that all together. Well, now you have a little idea of what we're gonna be doing. And this is everything you can do with those differences. So depending on how you make your curve, how thick your letters are, what's the distance between the letters and those curves and stuff, that's all the variety that you can make from the font. So you can see those Monsters Incorporated font, which has some eyes on the side. You have very famous Harry Potter font. You have different kinds of artistic fonts, which you really wouldn't use on a daily basis, but that's creativity. So you can see this burnt one. Maybe you wouldn't write a whole letter with it because that would be an attack to someone's eyes. But you can make your own font that is special in some way, maybe thicker letter, double spacing, or something that makes it different from all the other fonts. Do you have a favorite font maybe? It would be a good time for you to go to maybe your word processor, whichever it is, if it's Microsoft Office, whatever you're using, there's a list of fonts that you can use. So when you do that, there is always some font that you like more and something that doesn't really look good to you. That is quite unique to us. So fonts that I might like, someone else might not. There is a general consensus on what you should use when and when not to use it. So let's see just one of the jokes that comes with wrong use of fonts. So I don't know if you've heard about Comic Sans font, but that one is really not popular among people anymore. It was very popular when I was in high school. I was using it for literally everything. But then someone decided that it's not very professional. And then all these jokes started about not using Comic Sans if you want to seem any tiny bit professional. So here you can see a little joke on that account. It says, please keep the door closed, thank you. But yeah, the note underneath says, we are a Fortune 500 company, not a lemonade stand. You probably will choose a wrong font here and there, but that again goes to personal preference of each person, right? So if you're doing something very serious, schoolwork or something like that, I would suggest you not use a monster font or burnt font or something very super creative and not, may I say boring? Yeah, probably. So use boring fonts for your official schoolwork, but in your free time you can create your own font, which is only yours for your maybe hobby or personal use, something that is unique to you. What else is unique to you? It's your own handwriting. So each person has a little tiny difference in how we write. So if you hold, depending on how you hold your pen, do you have hold it under a certain angle? That's how your letters are going to be written. we've all been taught similarly how to write. So how does each letter looks like? We've all seen the same letters, but we write them slightly differently. Why is that? That's because we're all very creative creatures. So you kind of express yourself with your writing. I don't know if there are any girls with us here today. When I was in high school, I loved that little dot on I, where I would either make a little flower or a little heart or something like that. That was a creative spot for me, a creative output where I could show my personality. That kind of grew out. I kind of grew out of that, and now I'm just writing as fast as I can. But if you still have that little creative spark in your writing somewhere, maybe you could recognize which points you use and create exactly a font that matches your handwriting. These kind of differences and the analysis of our handwriting, that is called graphology. So if you Google graphology, you're going to find loads of those little tests of, depending on the angle of your writing, of how your letters are going, are there maybe a bit on one side or the other side? What does that mean for your personality? Which, yeah, I don't think it's really true, because you can always change your handwriting with a little practice. But what's the idea here is that it's unique to you. So you can create a very unique font from your handwriting. It's not going to be similar to Roboto or to Comic Sans. It's going to be your own, depending on your loops and your curves that you do. We're going to be doing that today, and it's going to be quite quick and fun. If you're ready to do that, I would invite you to try and search for a font maker app. Now, I'm going to show you where I found it. This one that you can see here, this is Microsoft Font Maker. That's what we're going to be using today. But if you have a different computer that maybe doesn't support that, I would suggest these other font makers. So you have Instagram Font Generator. Let me just check if this is showing. Ellie, can you see my other web page now? I've passed to Instagram Font Generator, and here I'm gonna write a little bit. Yeah, okay, it's visible. I can see it on YouTube now. There's a little lag, I'm sorry guys, so it takes a few minutes. But if you use Instagram Font Generator, you can just type something like, this is the digital creativity lab. And then it gives you all sorts of fonts available, and you can see how it looks, your writing in those fonts, and just you can copy it and paste it somewhere else. Really useful, really quick. However, you might want to design your own font. That's the button on the bottom right corner. And when you click on that, it opens something like this. When you can add these letters from different fonts and move them to your own font. So that's one option. But what we're going to be using today is this one. This is a program, this is a software that you can have on your computer and maybe continue this creative activity later on. It's called Microsoft Font Maker, and on the little click here, you can get it for free. That's the really important bit. Now, I'm gonna open my Microsoft Font Creator, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna share my screen again. So once you download it, it should open into something like this. There we go, Microsoft Font Maker. Right, so how you write on these things, in these little, so you have for each letter a little box where you can design your letter. Depending on how complicated you want it, that's how long it will take, but it can be done relatively quickly. So if you do it with your mouse, or if you have a little pen, if you're on your tablet, it will work really well with stylus pen, which I can absolutely recommend. So starting from A, we just write each letter in this box. B, C. Maybe if I respect the borders here given, that would be also good. You can delete each letter when you're not, oh my God, when you're not happy with it. It is a bit difficult to write this fast, but let's see what I can do. So these are capital letters. Down below you have lowercase letters and some signs. This is not everything we're going to be doing. We're also going to show this program how we connect letters as well. So this is just for capital letters. Try not to follow the lines, but to create a font based on how you usually write. So if, oh my God, it is difficult. So let's see, right, concentrate. I'm on letter K. Is anyone progressing faster than me? If anyone is, please tell me how you're doing it. This is difficult work. Right, M, N, O, B, Q. Oh, this R is terrible. Do you make any kind of specific lines on your writing? Do you create little dots or something that's unique that makes your handwriting different from anyone else's? Right, that is my uppercase alphabet. A still looks shameful. That's a little tiny bit better, but still not exactly how I write it. Maybe H can be edited too. So take your time and edit each letter until you're happy with it. Because that's exactly how it's going to be shown. You're not going to have different versions of each letter, which is usual for fonts. So progressing now to a lowercase. A, B, C, D, E, F. You see, my G is much different than the regular G in this preview alphabet. It shows you letters just to know where to place them, and that's how it's going to align them automatically. If you have some different kind of alignment, it's going to pick up on it in a next step, so don't worry about these things. H. See, there's my little dot. I don't make flowers or hearts anymore, but the dot is necessary. I don't like this J either. So this is a little creative activity because you can spend a lot of time on creating these letters. I'm on K now. How's everyone else progressing? Any comment, any tip? I feel like this is hard work. So I think I'm somewhere in the half. Let's see, a few more to go. Oof, what did I do there? And Q, wow, that Q is very much like G. Yeah, I wanted to say that you can maybe create some unique characters if you do it. If you write your S completely differently, or if you want to have a code letter, that is perfectly fine. Oh man, this is difficult. Right. You see, we're also practicing here mouse coordination and digital drawing if you're using stylus. If you're using a mouse, this is going to be considerably more difficult. But if you manage to figure out how you're going to draw with a mouse, that's a really good skill to have, because we're going to continue on with some more drawing in the next session. Especially when we start doing 3D design, all those kinds of mastery of writing and drawing on the screen is going to come useful. So finally on numbers, how's everyone else doing? Feel free to comment your progress, or if something is really bad or you're not doing this correctly, share your pain with us. When we're doing it together, it's a bit easier. So this might be something you wouldn't do yourself. You'll see later on how we can use it. Finally, on signs, so symbols. I think I write them like this, but hyphen. Right. Whew. I think if I was more attentive on Carla's art workshop, this would be a bit easier. Carla is leading workshops, art workshops on Saturdays, I think. So if you're interested in drawing a bit more, or if this is going really well for you, you can join her workshop as well and show your skills over there. Last week she was making some fish. It looked glorious. If any of you have been already on Carla's workshop, we would be happy to see your work and your progress. If you're happy to share it with us, of course, or somewhere on social media. You should be proud of your creativity and your efforts to work on your creativity. That's something to share with your networks. Some weird lines, hashtag sign, and $sign. And I think I'm slowly done. Well, this, I'll be done in a second. And a little star. Oh, this is terrible. You see, you can't go wrong with this. If you don't like what you've done, you just easily erase it and go over again. Like this little thing here. Make sure you're happy with what you've done before you save it, because it's going to repeat so many times in your writing. I think this looks decent. What do you think? Some letters and stuff. Well, for the first time, that should work. Now, let's click next. Here on this in the upper right corner, you have a button next, which is going to ask us to write 3 sentences. Why is it asking us this? Remember when we started this workshop, when we talked about connections between different fonts? So this is for this font maker to understand how we connect letters. What's the spacing between our letters and how overly we write these letters in combination. So let me try to do this. Like, oh my. There is a serious fear here now that I'm going to misspell something. There. And that looks terrible, but I'm still proud of it. This is my first font, so let's see how everything else goes. I can always make a new one. This is a process. And the third sentence, Jesus. How are you doing? Is anyone having any problems with this program? If you do, write a comment below in YouTube Live or on Zoom. I'll be able to answer it. So even if you're watching the recording, I will come back regularly to see those comments there. So anytime you need help, we're here for you. If I can help. You can see that this is my second font ever in life as well. So we're actually exploring this together. Benefit of the right. This doesn't look the best, but it's fine. It will work for the purpose. If you're done with this step, if you have been writing fast and ugly like me, then you're kind of done and you can progress to the next step. If you want to rewrite something, again, works fine. I will, you know, I will just say that this is not my first language, therefore my writing is not the best. Of course, that's a false claim because writing is not connected to language. Let's go to next stage and see how this looks like. Now, this is a program that has generated text based on the letters that I gave them. So on the bottom, you can decide on size. You can make it a bit bigger. What's the default size of your writing? You can also adjust space between words if you leave more space or you make them a bit closer. And space between characters is space between the letters, which means that if you tend to write your letters tightly together, which it should have picked up on, you can increase it or decrease it. I think it picked up on a relatively good amount. This looks fine for me. So I'm just gonna click, so now you don't have any more button next, but the button create. Now that we click on create, it's gonna prompt us to save this font. You can save it as my font, or you can call it something. Let's call this my handwriting. My handwriting is gonna go on desktop so I can easily find it. And now your job is, if you're done with this, this is a very important step for you to use this font. You need to find font folder on your Microsoft computer. If you're using Mac, it's going to be on a different place, but you can always Google where to find it. I'm going to show you how to do it on Microsoft computer. So let me see how I can do this. Right, okay, so new share. And now you can see into my computer, you can see where I'm going to put it. So from my desktop, there is the little file called my handwriting. You should copy it or cut it because you're going to transfer it to a different folder. That folder is that font folder on your Windows, which you can find when you go to your computer, Windows, program, Windows, again, folder Windows, and over here you have a little folder called fonts. Over there, when you come in, you go into that folder, you're going to see all the fonts that your computer currently has. You can add your font into that folder. It's automatically installing it for you to use it. And once that's done, you're ready. You're ready to you're ready to create something new with your new font. So let's see what we can create. Where would you use a font? So if you have your favorite font, be it Vetrana, Tahoma, Times New Roman, Comic Sans, regardless of what it is, where do you use a font? No matter what you type in, you can create a letter, you can create a poster, you can create a presentation, and you can use those fonts that you created. So we're going to start with a little letter. So if you follow me here to a Word document, we're going to take a little sample template. So you can create your own template, of course, use some different templates or design something. This is a typical letter, something very nice that I would maybe send to my friend. And now to make it super special and unique, I can create text in my own handwriting font. So let's see how that works. You go usually on this drop-down menu to find any font. So here we will probably be able to see Comic Sans. That was mainly a focus of all the jokes. And we can find under M, my handwriting font. My handwriting, there we go. It is very light, so we can still format this and maybe add bold. Now you can see how it looks like. That is my handwriting in a letter. I am now able to print it, to use it for maybe presentations, to send something to my friends, make little invitations, very personal. And it's gonna look like you've written it by your hand, which is fantastic and fabulous. So if I would want to send this to a friend or to my grandma would love to see something written by my hand, but maybe I don't have that much time or something. So I can create a letter like this and print it out, send it in a letter, or create a PDF out of it and send it by email. That's the digital side of this creativity. You create your own font and then you decide what to do with it. You can, as I said, use it for all kinds of graphic design or any kind of print or paper material. Now, that's not all we have for you today. So I'm going to show you something different. Just give me 1 second to go back to my presentation. Right, so did you try your font? I'm going to be expecting some comments here, so make sure you share what you've done. And we're back to our presentation. Now that we've created each letter in this program and created our font, this little file that we've transferred to Microsoft that we can now use for any kind of written material, which is super cool. And we're going to be, you can design away with this and really create something personal and unique. Now, that's not all we have for you. Did you ever think about creating secret messages? So a coded or somehow secret message that you can send to either your friend or someone who knows the code. If you've ever done that when you were a kid, you would probably recognize one of these ciphers. Now, a cipher is actually what we mean when we say a coded message. In a cipher, each letter in every word is represented with a different letter or a symbol. So you can see that there is a corresponding sign or a symbol for each letter. That's literally what a cipher is. Now we have different kinds, and we can use these two to create our font as well. If you and your friend share the same file of a font, you'll be able to decode a secret message that someone wrote. So let's try to do this with a simple. If you have more time, you can try this one with real illustrated symbols. This is Gnomish alphabet from a book called Artemis Fowl. It's like a fairy language, which fairies use in that book. It's really cool because when you write a little note, it looks like an illustration rather than writing. Or option 2 is to use this, which some people call Masonic cipher. It uses these kinds of, you see how letters are placed in exact position in these hashtag tables. Depending on where they are, that's the shape you will write. So let me show you how this works. We're going to come back to this. But first, I'm going to go to my font maker again. So again, open font maker. We're going to create a new different font, this time for a secret coded message. If you're ready for that, I'm going to just have this, I'm going to try with the Masonic cipher. I'm going to have it on a different computer on the side so I can see. But you will soon catch up on what I mean by positioning. So A was, remember what A was in that Remember where A is in the table, and I'm going to show you now how to create it in a font maker. So A would be this side. That was bad. Let me try that again. So that's A. Then B is the middle. Then C is side. Then D is again on the left side. See, you write just the part of the table that's touching that letter. That is quite a common one, but you can create a similar code for you and your friend who will then understand what it means by just seeing the letters or symbols. Or you can make it even more complicated. It can be an absolute mess. It can make no sense at all because you'll be able to just change the font and see the full message in a normal monotype cursiva font. So let's go on with this second table, which has J to R. So J is again this symbol, but with a little dot. And then we go to the same, it's the same table, it just has, well, points. So we write them. This is going to be a full coded cipher message. It's going to take us a little bit less. Now we know how to create these things. And O, P. I'm again quite slow, but if you're doing this quicker, make sure you add a few more tricks or lines or something in it to make it a bit more tricky for people. Now this is the third part of this table. I'll just go back to the presentation for you to see this picture again. So this is the table that we're trying to replicate now, STUV. We're going to do that in Font Maker now. That's why it has these diagonal ones. Back to Font Maker. STUV. V is fun because it's just upside down. And then we have W, which is same like S, but with a little dot. Then we have X, same like T, but with a dot. And Y. Why is that? There we go. Now we can have a lowercase set, or we don't have to, and we also don't need to fill in those signs if we don't have them. If we want, we can just save this and call it cipher. Again on desktop. And now I'm going to put it again to my Microsoft folder, Microsoft font folder. You can do that on your own computer. And I'm going to share again when I'm done with this. Okay, so let's add this new font to our library of fonts. You can do this, you know, once a week and have loads of different new fonts. Let's see if that works. Windows, fonts. If it doesn't allow us to use it, it means that we don't have enough signs yet. Okay, yeah. Let me check if it's there. I'm not sure if it copied, right? If not, it means that we need to add more symbols. So let's try to do this. If you want something that's unrecognizable, you're gonna do little scribbles on each sign. Or you can create an actual drawings of something. Play with different shapes. I'm now just creating something super quick for you to see that you're going to be able to use a secret code even if it's unrecognizable completely. Right, how's your progress going? Anyone has any questions? Let me check the, okay. It looks really funny. I can see it on YouTube live screen now. So it doesn't have to correspond to the actual sign because you're gonna be using it just as a, so for this, you're gonna have to have a file definitely for your friend to be able to decide what you've just wrote. Right. Okay. Now, this is just to pass the step. And there is our very confusing alphabet. Scribble, very secret, very secret. So I'm going to create this font again and call it Cipher. Cipher font. And I'm going to transfer that one to Microsoft folder. Let's see how that works. I'm excited to see what I've done. Right, Cipher font will work. It's now in my Microsoft folder, and I'm going to share my screen with that letter again. So let's see. Back in Microsoft Office. Yeah, in Microsoft Office, you can see this letter again. This is my handwriting font, but now we're going to change it to, let's change this to a normal font, Calibri. You can see that there is some text written. And if I put all of this into uppercase, all of that, right, it won't do it, never mind. Let's try to see if we have our new font. What did we call it? Cipher. Cipher, Cipher, Cipher. Right, it's not here, but it's not here only because it needs to reload the Word application. Let's do this first. Okay. And I will go into it again. I will open that Word document and share my screen. How's your work going, guys? Is your font any better than mine? Do you have any kind of creative little curves or little unique signs in yours? I would love to see what you've done. Right, we have the text here again. And you can see my word, and we're gonna find now that weird little font that we have. There we go. So that's a secret message. That is very secret. Nothing is more secret than this. No one can read this. However, if I were to send this to my friend would be very confused. But if a friend has the same font file, my friend would easily be able to just change this font into Calibri and read the message. You get my idea of how to use secret messages this way. No one will be able to recognize what was written, apart from your friend who has a file to convert it to a normal font style. Right, so what we can do is see that other part that we've done. So if we have letters, random, we can try to see that in the font. So that now looks like that cipher, Masonic cipher that I was telling you about. You can see those little parts and signs. It's exactly like in that little table that we saw with letters. So if you would see this, you would be able to decide which letter it is based on the table. If you had a table next to you, and this, you would be able to see exactly what I mean. So if that's a table that's in front of you, you will be able to decide what's written over there. Right, so let's see now what you've done. If you have something to share with us, you can either screenshot it and maybe put it on some social media, tag us into it, or if you want to send it to us by link in our inbox, I would be very, very happy to see that. And here is how to do it. So this kind of concludes what we're doing today, because we have only 1 hour each time to cover a new tool and new software. So today I've shown you how to create your new font, but it's your your job and it's your activity as well. So you can do it any time of the week. You can repeat this in your own time, and you can share with us what you've done. You can share this with your friends as well. So you now have knowledge of a new tool that you can share and do with your friends to have maybe those secret messages that I've just shown you. Or you can also create it for your creative projects, for letter writing or invitations. If you're maybe older, getting married or something, you want really special invitations for that occasion, you could create them with your own handwriting, which helps if you have like 150 guests. Right, so that would be all for today. And if you want to share your designs, it's easy to just tag us on your posts. As I've said on the start, this is a workshop organized by NeuroLove. NeuroLove is a platform. You can find it on neurolove.org. And we have all kinds of workshops that we do and facilitate for you. So if you would tag us, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. So depending on what you use, what's your favorite platform, or where do you have your friends who might want to see this, share this and tag NeuroLove or NeuroChampions with your work. We'll be there to comment on it, to celebrate this creativity with you, and to have fun as well. If you want to rate this workshop, if you have some suggestions, if you have anything that you would like us to do next week, you have this little QR code on the side that you can scan. It's going to take you to a little survey, and there you can fill in your opinion, your suggestion, and maybe give us a link of something that you would like me to explore with you. My name is Sara, once again, and this is our first session out of many that we're going to organize within this Digital Creativity Lab. I'm happy to see you next week. Make sure you sign up for your spot and watch us on YouTube Live. If you missed this one, you can easily go and watch a recording on our YouTube channel as well. Share it with your friends as well, because if we have a bigger group, it's going to be more fun. I'll see you next Tuesday, again, 2 to 3 p.m. You can join me on Zoom or on YouTube Live. That's all, and have fun during the week, guys. Have something creative to do to share with us next week. Bye.